Going on, guys? Here ready for part two. This looks like the start of the second quarter. 2-1 right now. McKinney up. Unfortunately, our Shawnee goal is not on film. Our GoPro users were not able to capture that. They forgot to get it turned back on, but nonetheless, here we go. Second quarter start. Got this slowed down. I want a couple points here to explain to you guys. We got a great draw there. McKinney LSM coming up with that GB. Coming down what looks to be a rather simple, play coming down, but it turns into a fast break. We actually slide a little high. Our defender is just not sliding over, and McKinney comes up with pretty much a free shot, which luckily for us hits off the post, and you'll see everybody kind of run out towards that sideline to kind of get that ball chased back. And we were a little bit lucky that we were able to get to that ball, and so we were able to gain possession. And so, I'm proud of the fact that we did hustle and had the awareness there. But obviously, as we come up here, we're going to make a very massive mistake in that we get into some trouble. We get into some pressure. And what we should have done is just thrown the ball up the other field. Kenneth tries to run in as our long stick D to try and recover this ball. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is McKinney will end up coming up with this ball, and it's pretty much like a 2, almost 3-on-1, where Dakota's just pretty much left hung to dry, and there's really nothing we can do. So obviously, this failed clearing is what leads to that McKinney goal, and again, it's just caused by that pressure and us needing to get that ball up the field. You'll see their score looks to be 3-1 as we get the film back to normal speed here. So obviously that's a tough way to start the quarter, but hey, we need to understand that we got to make those slides and we've got to make those clears. I mean, that's a huge element of the game, and that's something that we've got to continue working on. Is when we get to that pressure and we see that pressure, man, let's just get it upfield and let's swallow our pride and hey, let's make sure that those type of situations don't occur. So again, we're here, Chris battling as always, coming up with a pretty solid GB. Kind of trying to get things settled down. I'm trying to get him to pull it out. He did, which he has. Unfortunately for us there, it was a push from the back. A relatively weak call from the referee, but looks like Chris is going to the box for a penalty, and so obviously McKinney will regain possession there, coming back the other way. So obviously this is a tough series of events for us, but nonetheless we find ourselves going man down, looking like boxing one here. So one of the things that I see that we've done a little bit better with this man down is our spacing. I'd still like to see us put a little bit more pressure, get on their gloves a little bit more, but it's all about finding that happy medium, and I'm relatively pleased with what I'm seeing out of this series of man down. McKinney gets a little bit lucky. They throw that ball out and it stays in. You'll notice that the ball does clear out from that white area on the sideline, but that's still considered in. Again, we kind of get lucky that they force a pass in and we're able to come up with that GB. And so here we're trying to get that ball moved into the other side of the field. You'll notice, Kenneth does a fantastic job as our defender, long pole, being able to bring that ball upfield. But we make a very fundamental mistake with one of our midfielders who needed to stay back. Obviously, we're man down, so we've got to keep 3 poles or 3 defenders on that side of the field, along with our goalie, for a total of 4. And so, unfortunately, that was what eluded us there, and so it was an offsides call on us. So man down, we only would have been allowed to have brought over to the opposite side of the field 5 men. So that being said, you'll see here McKinney is going to get the ball back at midfield and come in. So obviously, guys, that's something that is a basic rule of lacrosse. I know it's a little bit confusing that we only had that we were man down, but just understand, you've got to keep three field players on one side of the field, and of course on the defensive end you've got to keep 3 plus your goalie. Again, McKinney here with a couple shot opportunity, it looks like, and them getting reset here. And now you'll notice here that McKinney is I'm forcing the ball a little bit. We're forcing him into making some tough passes, and we get a little bit overextended here One of the McKinney defenders who's playing with us is, gets caught out again. Here we're defending outside in the alleys. I think that might have been Cameron, and of course we're leaving ourselves to some exposure again, where we were defending way out of our boundary lines, and again we get lucky that McKinney coughs the ball up, and but again we find ourselves a little bit in a situation where with a better team, we could have really paid the price with overextending ourselves like that on defense. You'll see, we're fighting for that ball on that far sideline, and we're in the trenches there trying to come up with that ball. But again, lucky for us, we've picked up an opportunity of getting that turnover and coming back the other way for us. So as we kind of enter back on the field, we've really got to, like I say, we've got to take advantage of a possession here. Alright guys, you'll see this next segment, we are going to really slow it down, and you'll see an Omaha, which is our overload play, coming from Florida. You'll see the ball get to Chris. He's going to back up a bit, and you'll see, our attackmen on that wing and our attackmen at X are going to clear out of the way and open up that alley for Chris. Now, one of the things you'll realize is that McKinney is kind of playing this in a somewhat of a zone, but they've also identified Chris as our strongest player, and as Chris makes his move in, you'll see a fantastic roll dodge, which is going to allow him to free his hand. You'll see that slide come in here, but Chris is able to get a fairly decent left-handed shot in. I would have liked to have seen it as a bounce shot or down closer to the turf, but nonetheless, McKinney goalie makes a great save. We're able to pick up that rebound and kind of get things resettled and moved back around to that alpha side. As we pick up the speed here, you'll notice that ball kind of resurfacing there in alpha, and we're just trying to get the ball, moved out and resettled. But unfortunately, we've lost the ball, and McKinney comes, and we're in a bit of a scramble back and forth there. You'll notice here the ball goes out of bounds, and really from the sidelines I thought it was off of one of our guys, so the ref gives us another favorable call. Chris is going to bring this ball back in the field of play, and he's just going to take it to the house. He's going to swim dodge his first defender, which you'll see here. Second slide will come, and even a third slide. Here comes a triple team. Chris does a pretty good job, gets himself out of pressure, gets his stick to the sidelines. From his back foot, he makes a great pass right to the crease area for Noah, who's able to bury it, and actually, too, gets buried by the goalie, puts a huge hit on him, but you know what? Noah gets a great finish. Just so you guys know, and as we finish this, the rest of this part 2 out, I mean, realistically, when Chris draws that double, we've got to move the ball right then and there. The fact that he was able to draw a triple, hold on to the ball, make that pass across the crease was fantastic, but against a good team, I mean, they're going to put Chris on his rear once that second and third slide especially comes. So we can't count on that. One of the things, obviously, you notice Chris there kind of waiting up at midfield to kind of get the face-off going. So I'm not exactly sure why it's taken so long. I mean, this is rolling at the correct speed. So I was fairly proud of the way we came out in that second quarter. I believe the score happens to now be 3-3. There was another goal that unfortunately didn't make the highlight reel, and I believe this was a McKinney timeout, second McKinney timeout of the half. So we're pretty late here into the second quarter, and so thank you for watching part 2. Keep it locked here, Shawnee Lacrosse, for upcoming parts and upcoming films that we are in the process of coming up with. So I hope you guys are learning. For all those that may not be Shawnee Lacrosse affiliates, hey, we appreciate any positive comments and suggestions. My name is Coach DeLoro here, head coach of Shawnee Lacrosse, and I just would like to help my guys learn as much as they possibly can and improve their lacrosse IQ. So thank you guys, and hey, keep it locked to Shawnee Lacrosse YouTube channel.